Elimination of private property. Without the motivation of personal gain, individuals may feel less incentivized to innovate or work diligently, leading to a decline in overall productivity and economic stagnation. Loss of individual freedom. Under communism, the state exerts control over citizens to a far greater degree than in liberal democracies. The state restricts people's ability to make personal choices such as purchase decisions, investment decisions, and voting decisions. Censorship and suppression. Communist states exert control over the media and public discourse, where government censorship prevents the free exchange of ideas and stifles societal progress. Economic inefficiency. In communist economies, decisions are made by government planners rather than through the natural supply and demand of goods and services in an open market. This leads to misallocation of resources, lack of political pluralism, the inability of non-communist political parties to assume government within communist societies leads to a concentration of power, reducing accountability, and increasing the risk of corruption. Human rights violations. Communist regimes often prioritize state goals over individual rights, which often leads to atrocities such as forced labor camps and suppression of religious and ethnic minorities. Poor economic growth. The focus on redistributive policies rather than wealth creation hampers significant investments and technological advancements, curbing economic development. Food shortages. Centralized control of agriculture often leads to mismanagement and inefficiency, resulting in chronic food shortages and even famine in severe cases. Inequality. Despite ideals of equality, communist systems often result in a new class hierarchy where government officials and those with party loyalty enjoy greater privileges and power. Education and propaganda. Education systems in communist countries often focus more on indoctrination and propaganda rather than foundational knowledge and skills, limiting intellectual freedom. The surveillance state. Communist governments often establish extensive surveillance to monitor and control their citizens, severely invading personal privacy and freedom. Restricted travel. Citizens in communist countries often face severe restrictions on travel, both within and outside the country, limiting exposure to new ideas and cultural experiences. Job assignment. Rather than choosing their professions, people are often assigned jobs by the state, which may not match their skills or interests, leading to job dissatisfaction and inefficiency. Dependency on the state. Extensive welfare and state-provided services can create dependency, discouraging self-reliance and personal responsibility among citizens. Ineffective justice system. The judicial systems in communist regimes are often biased. Judges are often puppets of the state, which compromises the fair treatment of citizens. Cultural repression. Communist regimes often attempt to control and repress cultural expressions that do not align with state ideology, eroding cultural diversity and freedom of expression. If you're game, you can now watch all the arguments in support of communism. That video is on screen now.